Let's tackle a huge question, one that really gets to the core of how we see our lives. What actually determines success? Is it all about pure, relentless hard work? Or are we just playing a game of chance?
You've heard this a million times, right? It's the kind of thing they put on school walls. It's a simple, powerful promise we're all taught. Just put in the work and you'll get the results. It's pretty much the foundation of how we're supposed to think about achievement.
But let's be real for a minute. Have you ever done everything right, poured your heart and soul into something, planted all the seeds, and just watched it go nowhere? If you've ever felt that, you know the real world is a whole lot more complicated than that simple promise.
So, if hard work isn't the whole story, what is? What are the hidden variables that are really running the show? Let's start digging into the unseen forces that shape our lives.
The very first hidden factor, well, it's inside our own heads. It's called egocentric bias. Basically, it's a totally natural human glitch where we see our own efforts in crystal clear high definition, while everyone else's contributions are kind of blurry. You're the main character in your own movie, so of course you see every single thing you do.
And this bias leads to some pretty funny situations. In one study, researchers asked married couples to guess what percentage of the housework they each did. When they added the two numbers together, the average was 140%. Both people genuinely believed they were doing way more than half the work just because they were so much more aware of their own effort.
And this is where it gets a little dangerous. When we're so laser-focused on our own grind, it's really easy to become completely blind to the external forces and the pure, random chance that create our opportunities to begin with. Okay, check this out. It's called the relative age effect. In a lot of youth sports, the cutoff date for age groups is January 1st. That means a kid born in January is competing with a kid born in December of the very same year. At 6 years old, that's a massive physical difference. The January kid is older, bigger, and stronger. They get picked for the travel team, get better coaching, and get a head start that has absolutely nothing to do with effort and everything to do with their birthday.
And this isn't just about sports. The author Malcolm Gladwell pointed out something mind-blowing. Out of the 75 wealthiest people in all of history, a shocking number of them, 14, including John D. Rockefeller, were all born in the United States in a single 9-year window back in the 1830s. Why? Because they grew up at the exact moment the American economy was exploding. Railroads, Wall Street, they were born into a perfect storm of opportunity.
Even the modern giants get this. Bill Gates, who is obviously brilliant and worked like crazy, has openly said that getting access to one of the only high school computers in the world in the 1960s was, and I quote, lucky to an absurd degree. He knows that if he'd been born somewhere else, his story could have been completely different.
Okay, so after hearing all that, it's pretty easy to feel a little discouraged. I mean, if your birth date and birthplace have that much power, what does that mean for us? Are we just puppets being controlled by our circumstances?
And that leads to a really frustrating thought. If it's all just one big cosmic lottery, then why should I even bother trying so hard?
The psychologist Barry Schwartz had this radical thought experiment to deal with this. He pointed out that universities just keep raising the bar higher and higher, which suggests that anyone who just misses the cut wasn't good enough. So his idea was, what if we just set a reasonable standard for what qualified means? Then you take every single person who meets that standard and you put them all into a lottery for the spots. It would force us to admit that when you have a huge group of incredibly talented and hardworking people, a lot of who gets in just comes down to luck.
But you know what? Acknowledging luck doesn't have to be a downer. In fact, it can be the total opposite. What if you could actually learn to attract it? What if you could learn how to manufacture your own luck?
The investor Naval Ravikant has this brilliant way of breaking it down. He says there are 4 kinds of luck. First, there's blind luck. Totally random, can't control it. But the other 3, we can. There's luck from motion. You just create opportunities by being active and trying stuff. Then there's luck from preparation, where you do the hard work so that when an opportunity shows up, you're ready to grab it. And finally, the most powerful kind, luck that finds you. This is when you become so good and so unique at what you do, opportunities start seeking you out.
This reminds me of that classic quote from Louis Pasteur, "Luck favors the prepared mind." See, opportunity doesn't just fall out of the sky on anyone. It tends to land in the fields that we've already taken the time to prepare. So hard work isn't about guaranteeing a specific outcome. It's about preparing the soil so you're ready to catch luck when it comes your way. So where does this all leave us? How are we supposed to approach our goals in a world where luck is obviously a major player? I think it calls for a completely new philosophy for how we think about effort.
Step 1 is just acceptance. The world is not a perfectly fair place, and the sooner we can really internalize that, the sooner we can stop getting frustrated by it and start working smarter within the world as it actually is.
This means your effort is still absolutely essential, just maybe not in the way we were taught. The harvest isn't only about reaching the finish line. The real reward is everything you build along the way. Even when you fail, you walk away with new skills, more discipline, new relationships. That knowledge becomes the starting point for your next adventure. You're never, ever starting from scratch again.
And that leaves us with this powerful paradox to live by. You have to strive with everything you've got as if it's all up to you. Prepare your mind, build your skills, get out there and make things happen. But at the same time, you have to carry this sense of trust, knowing that the final result isn't entirely in your hands. Do the work, but let yourself off the hook if the dice don't roll your way, because you never know when the very next roll is going to be the one that changes everything.